Hello, how's it going? Today, we're working on the S14. So in this video, we're gonna finish up the wiring, hopefully behind the dash. We're gonna pull this thing back out. We're gonna finish welding up the mounts and then button up a couple things, maybe start the engine bay, like the tubs and all that. All right, so first order of business, we gotta get this thing mounted on the steering column. So to get this off the Z, I had to drill out the studs because there wasn't any heads on them, so that destroyed the top piece that bolted on here and everything. So we got to build a new one of those so we could bolt this on. So we're gonna do that. Alrighty. Alright, so I knocked that bracket out real quick. And that's how we're looking. One on the left for the 240 body harness, the one on the right is to run the engine. Alright, so we're jumping around. We're coming over to the reverse lights. So I just kind of pinned through all the plugs for the transmission harness right here, and I found this guy. Pretty much all it is it's a 2-wire plug that goes into the KA trans, and then when you put it in reverse, there's a switch in there that it hits that completes the circuit between the 2 wires and turns on the lights. So there's the same thing on the CD09, so I'm just going to take these 2 wires, run them around, down through the shifter hole, and then on to the transmission to that plug. And to find it, all I did was I just jumped the 2 pins and then the lights came on. So now we're gonna have reverse lights. Another electrical thing, so when I extended the headlights, I forgot to do something that I should have. I should have ran a power wire for the fans, and then also like a power and signal wire to the coolant temp sensor that I'm gonna have here. So that's something I'm gonna have to go back and add and hopefully not forget. Alrighty, so I threw the Z body harness in here. Now this looks like quite a mess. This looks like an electrical fire waiting to happen, but I mean, everything that's not being used is taped off and hopefully won't ground out on anything. I'm still gonna position stuff a bit more, but this is like what it's looking like right now. This is a lot of stuff going on here. But since I had this in here, it got me thinking about the gas pedal. So here is the 2 gas pedals right here. So we have the Z gas pedal and then the stock 240 gas pedal. So they're basically identical in the way they bolt up with the 2 holes and the length and everything. The only difference is this back stopper on the pedal. So I threw this on here and it sits in the same position and everything, but it can't reach, or it's not maxing out like it's supposed to. It's stopping because of the stopper. So I think we just start cutting it off in sections until we get it to where once you're pushed down all the way, that's full throttle, and then it should be that easy. Alright, so gas pedal's done. Just had to cut a bit off right there. And how to judge when it was fully like all the way down is I drew this line, and as I pushed in, once this hit right here on this line, I knew that was all the way down. I think I'm gonna have to add a couple washers on the back just to space it, just so I can get it perfect. But yeah, I'll throw it in right now. Alright, so gas pedal's in. It's definitely not even with the brake and clutch pedal, which kind of sucks, but I felt it out. You know, I could still heel toe with it, and worst case, you can like bend part of the mount to bring the pedal up more, which I'll probably end up doing, but for now I'm okay with it. And then I buttoned up most of the harness in here. Got the key reader stuff hooked up. It's all tucked on the driver's side footwell. Coming over, I have the grounds hooked up on this side, right there. And then over here, it looks like a mess, but both the main fuse boxes are under there so that I can access them once I pull the glove box off. And then all we have hanging down right now, let's see if I can get the light. And all we have hanging down right here is the main power hookup to the 350Z body harness. And then this is the body harness connector to the engine harness and the ECU. And then this stuff over here, I actually brought in the engine harness to see if it would fit through the hole. So that's that stuff. This is the power hookup to the 240 body harness. And that's pretty much it. So it's there. I have this gauge cluster so we can see oil pressure for now, and then we'll probably get rid of it after a bit. But yeah, I'm definitely going to drive it around at first without the dash on, just in case something is trying to catch on fire. But otherwise, this is how it's going to be. I kind of cleaned up in here, so I'm going to call the wiring pretty much just situated for now. Once we put the battery in the back, we can start hooking up the power wires and everything, and then it'll be all good to go. So now it's time to pull out the engine for the 100th time. Alright, no time lapse or nothing. It's just going to be like, oh, that was easy. Okay, so hopefully next time we're putting this thing back in, it's going to be the final install, and we're going to drive it after, hopefully. Okay, so the plan is we're going to get that back on the stand, because hopefully we're going to redo some things on it, some seals. Pull this guy out, the cross member, weld it all up, and then paint it along with the transmission mount. And then actually before we pull this out, to clear the starter on the HR, you have to rotate your steering rack back so it moves the steering arm back more so the starter can clear. But that's easy on S13s, but S14s, they have like this bump right here, and that's built in, and that's built into this guy right here. So since we're rotating it, this isn't gonna fit anymore, so we're gonna have to cut this guy up and re-weld it so it works with the rack rotated. Alright, so the cross member's out. I have the back sides right there all welded up on both of them already. Next thing I gotta do is I gotta make some plates that come down from like right there to there that I can weld just so we have support on the front of the mount. And then it should be solid. Alright, so all the reinforcement pieces are made and tacked up. That piece, that piece, that piece, that piece. And then I decided to do some on the bottom just to be safe. So where it reconnects right here from relocating the rack, and then 3 along the line here, and then another one there. Time to weld them all up and then prep them for paint. The cross member is officially done. Reinforced and all painted. So I threw it in there because I wanted to take off my knuckles and LCAs. I decided that it's better to be safe than sorry and just reinforce them. I had already modified these knuckles, and then I got like the little villains welding piece and threw them on there. And then everybody says that you don't need to like box in the bottom because it's strong enough and you want these to crumple in case of an accident, but I'd be more comfortable knowing that they're reinforced and not worrying about them breaking. And then the same goes with the knuckles. I mean, I feel confident that my welds are strong enough, but at the same time, I'm gonna grind down each side and then just add a thick piece of steel on each side, just to be sure. And I didn't even realize we gotta mark off something pretty freaking cool that I've been wanting to do since I started this car. Right here. Make the mounts. The mounts are done. Trans mount, the cross member for the engine mounts. Shit. It's all downhill from here. Alright, so I made some templates for the stuff I'm gonna make. One of the first things is I'm gonna remake a bump stop in here because I didn't really like how close the tie rod was hitting the top of the LCA, like it was almost gonna go over and then it would bind. So I don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna put a piece of steel here. I mean, I probably should have dropped my knuckles a bit when I welded them on there. It's just something I didn't think about, but for now I think we're okay. So we're gonna do that. And then some reinforcement pieces. We're just gonna do one on the outside of the knuckle out of some thick steel, and then one on the inside. And then I'm gonna box the bottom in and do this bump stop with 12 gauge. And then I have some thicker stuff that I use for the mounts that I'm gonna use on the knuckle. Alright, so I got all the pieces tacked up. We got the bump stop piece, we got the 2 reinforcement pieces right here on the sides, and then just running one piece right here to box it in. It's time to lay some more dimes. Alrighty, these are all welded up. So this is a bit excessive, you know, but I'm not gonna have to worry about it breaking, which is cool. Bump stops in. Bam. All welded up. So gotta go buy some paint and then these are done. Okay, so I threw the knuckle and LCA on just to show that bump stop that I made. So as you can see the tie rod end, it's kind of up and it would like barely hit the LCA, so I felt the need to add that. And I mean, the geometry might be different when the car's on the ground, there's weight on it, but I like the fact that there's a solid bump stop there. And then I realized that that wouldn't be an issue if I had dropped the knuckle down a bit. But worst case, if it drives hella weird and I feel like that's the issue, I'll just buy another set of knuckles from somebody and modify them to be like that. It's a learning experience. But these are done. So I'm just gonna paint them up, make them look all pretty, and then we're good to go. Alrighty, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Got a decent amount of like the odds and ends all tied up, but up next is this engine bay. I want to get it cleaned up. I want to get it all seam welded in some areas, get the tubs made, get the back firewall looking all clean, and then lay down some paint. Alrighty, the front end's all put back together. Knuckles and LCAs are all painted and good to go. You know what that means. We're at the list. So we got done putting Z harness behind dash. Got done reinforcing the LCAs. We mounted the S14 fuse box better, but that's something. And I think that's about it. So in the next video, I think I'm gonna do like a how-to for tubs. I mean, personally, I've never done it myself, but as I learn to do them, I'll explain it. Alrighty, thanks for watching.